If we look at maps from before 1935, there is no Iran to be found. This is for a simple reason: back then we would have found this country under the name of Persia. From 1792, the Qajar dynasty ruled Persia. It was also at this time that the gradual expansion of European powers into the region began, namely the Russian and British empires. Interest in Persia increased after 1892, when oil resources were discovered in the country. The government in Tehran was unable to prevent the spread of foreign influence and, with British support, a revolution took place between 1905 and 1911 which led to the introduction of a parliament. However, changes and modernization were slow and ineffective, so overall anger in the country continued to grow. In 1921 there was an uprising against the ruling dynasty led by Reza Shah Pahlavi, who became ruler in 1925. Although he was quick to modernize his country along European model, this was often done using violent and dictatorial methods. In 1935, the name of the country Persia was officially changed to Iran. After the rise of Nazism in Germany, the Shah tried to orient himself towards Germany, but after the start of World War II, his stance raised concerns in Britain and the Soviet Union. So Iran was militarily occupied to prevent it from cooperating with Germany. The occupying forces also removed Reza Pahlavi from power and placed his son on the throne. The British government nationalized the oil companies and controlled the oil industry in Iran. After the war, Shah Mohammad decided to ease the political situation, and for the first time political parties could legally form and elections could be held. The 1951 elections were won by Mohammad Mossadegh, who, following the British example, nationalized the oil companies in Iran. But what Britain could do was forbidden to the Iranian government, and this decision angered the Britain and United States. In 1953, Shah Mohammad Reza, with strong support from the CIA and the government in Washington, staged a coup against the democratic establishment and took absolute power in the country himself. His pro-Western rule, which limited the power of Islam, greatly annoyed conservative religious groups. The overthrow of the democratic government angered the democratical part of the population. Tensions resulted in anti-government demonstrations in 1978. The protests gradually grew until they became a revolution and regime change in 1979. Very conservative religious group led by Ruhollah Khomeini came to power. State structures were destroyed and Iran became an Islamic republic based on a theocratic regime. The US immediately came into political conflict with the Islamic Republic, just as it did between Iran and Iraq. In 1980, Iraq launched a military invasion of Iran and the war lasted 8 years. Thus, fear, paranoia and repressions grew in Iran. The war ended in 1988 and the leader died the following year and was replaced by Ali Khamenei, who still rules today. The country was destroyed after a long war and the leadership of the Islamic Republic feared that the country could be invaded again at any time. In the event of a conflict with a superpower, Iranian regime would have no any chance to defending itself. So Iran's military nuclear program began to develop. Iran's nuclear weapons development program was exposed by the opposition organization NCRI in 2002. And this led to a further worsening of already poor international political relations. The leadership of the Islamic Republic of Iran knew that if it got too close to producing a nuclear weapon, world powers would want to attack it militarily. But if they did not have nuclear weapons, they would not be able to deter hostile countries from attacking them militarily. This situation was resolved in 2015 when an international treaty was signed. Western countries can check that Iran does not enhance nuclear material to high levels that could be used for a nuclear weapon, and in return Western sanctions will be lifted and a promise of security for the Iranian regime will be provided. However, the Iranian government wanted to strengthen its position in the region and started to support terrorist organizations in the wider region with the money gained from trade after the sanctions were eased. The best known are, for example, the Houthis in Yemen or Hamas in Palestine. Through these activities, the Iranian regime has turned almost every country and region against itself. In 2018, the United States, led by President Donald Trump, denounced the nuclear deal and renewed sanctions, which cornered the Islamic Republic and escalated the situation enough for the Iranian government to resume its military nuclear program and efforts to obtain a nuclear weapon. Then in June 2025, Israel and then the United States launched large-scale airstrikes on nuclear facilities in Iran, and the theocratic regime in the country is weakened as probably never before in history. What will be the development in the future? We will see.